Hello everyone, I'm Haroon, and today we're exploring another shocking case. Jealousy, a powerful and often devastating emotion, can drive someone to commit heinous acts. It was this very emotion that sparked a tragedy in Costa Rica a few years back. This case is etched in forensic history as the Gerardo Cruz case. Let's break it down step by step. Born in February 1975 in Costa Rica, little is known about her family or early life. The girl grew up in an area called Cuba, living with her mother, Sonia Fonsek. Samodi went to a local school where her tough and contentious personality was already evident. She didn't handle rejection well and often got her way through force or manipulation. Locals recall that Samodi, with her stunning looks and flawless figure, easily captivated men but struggled to hold on to them. While her beauty was undeniable, her greed and vanity prioritized wealth and self-interest, which turned suitors away after brief romances. She was also fiercely jealous and aggressive. In her youth, thanks to her doll-like appearance, Samodi worked as a Barbie model for Universal, a major bookstore chain. This role earned her a nickname that stuck with her for life. After high school, she began a relationship with a prominent local TV journalist, Osvaldo Fernando Baleri, who was 16 years her senior. This was her longest and most significant relationship, though he never proposed. In 1996, they welcomed a son, Christopher, followed by a daughter, Christina, in 1997. However, due to constant conflicts and Samodi's jealous outbursts, Baleri ended things. In 2012, at age 53, Osvaldo passed away unexpectedly, leaving Samodi out of his will. Unwilling to accept this, she took drastic action, seizing his home by changing the locks to block his relatives and heirs. She also took valuable items from the estate. Outraged, Baleri's family took her to court over the theft. Police forced her to vacate the property, but no criminal charges were filed. Samodi had many other romantic entanglements, including one with Miguel Angel Perez, with whom she had her third child, a daughter named Maria. Some sources suggest this relationship was formalized through marriage but ended in divorce, while others claim no marriage occurred. Curiously, she gave her youngest daughter her lover's surname without his knowledge or consent. Alarmingly, several of Samodi's lovers vanished or died under mysterious circumstances. Yet no one seemed to notice for a long time. For instance, one lover disappeared shortly after ending things with the volatile Samodi, and he remains missing. Many suspect her involvement, but no concrete evidence was found. Another ex, Diaco, was murdered after their breakup in what appeared to be a botched robbery. The killers were never caught, and while speculation pointed to Samodi, no solid proof emerged. Her most infamous victim, however, was Gerardo Cruz. Born in December 1992 in San Jose, Costa Rica, Gerardo grew up without knowing his biological father, who left before his birth. His mother, Ana Patricia, later married Hermes Rodriguez, who adopted and raised Gerardo as his own. A few years later, Gerardo gained a younger sister, Milena. His childhood and teenage years were peaceful and untroubled. He attended a regular school, loved motorcycles, and met his soulmate, Carol, at a young age. By 23, Gerardo, Carol, and their 4-year-old daughter, Genesis Cruz, lived with his aunt and uncle in San Sebastian, a suburb of the capital. To support his family, Gerardo worked at a local bakery. The couple was content, and soon they learned they were expecting another child. In the summer of 2015, Gerardo crossed paths with Samodi, who occasionally visited the bakery where he worked. At 40, she remained strikingly attractive, often wearing revealing outfits and flirting openly. She increasingly pursued younger men, likely flattered by their attention. Despite their nearly 20-year age gap in Gerardo's family, he quickly fell for her charm and began secret rendezvous. Samodi started frequenting the bakery almost daily to see him, often with her 19-year-old daughter Christina in tow. Initially, Gerardo balanced his family life and affairs seamlessly, keeping both women unaware of each other. But he soon grew careless, boasting to friends and co-workers about Samodi, describing her as an incredible lover who showered him with gifts. Word reached his mother, who urged him to end the affair. The relationship lasted just a few months, ending in October 2015, when Samodi learned Gerardo had a pregnant wife and young daughter. Enraged, she bombarded Carol with insulting calls and texts, threatening to kill Gerardo if he wasn't exclusively hers. Gerardo begged for Carol's forgiveness and managed to save his marriage. He dismissed Samodi's threats, assuming she'd soon move on. He couldn't have predicted her vindictive nature. Days after their breakup, Gerardo witnessed a disturbing incident while walking downtown. He saw an older man following a young girl, holding his phone to film under her miniskirt. Outraged, Gerardo recorded the scene, confronted the girl to warn her, and advised her to contact the police. He then chased the man, filming him and loudly questioning his actions until the man fled in a taxi. That night, Gerardo posted the video online, and it went viral overnight. Users identified the man as Luis Sulmano Delgado, a former finance ministry official. The media amplified the story, turning Gerardo into a national figure. He gave frequent interviews, condemning Delgado's actions and standing by his decision. Meanwhile, Delgado's lawyers accused Gerardo of breaking the law by sharing the video and prepared to sue him. Gerardo was baffled by the backlash, believing he'd done the right thing. On October 7th, he gave his final radio interview, confident in his actions. The next day, he planned to meet his friend Oswald after work, but canceled abruptly, citing an emergency. It later emerged that Samodi had lured him to a park that evening with a fake promise of another interview. Trusting her, Gerardo went to the location after his shift, only to be ambushed by two strangers. They stole his bag, beat him, and stabbed him multiple times in the chest and stomach before fleeing. Before losing consciousness, Gerardo called his friend, who alerted police and medics. Thanks to quick action, Gerardo reached the hospital, where doctors battled to save him for 42 days. Tragically, on November 19th, he passed away in intensive care. As a recent celebrity, Gerardo's condition gripped the nation. His family gave updates, asking for prayers, and were baffled by who could have targeted him. His funeral drew crowds offering condolences and demanding justice. Initially, police considered robbery as a motive, given the stolen bag and nighttime park setting. But Gerardo's viral video suggested another theory: revenge by Delgado, whose reputation was tarnished. The media and public rallied for answers, picketing streets to pressure police. For months, the investigation stalled until May 2016, when street surveillance footage surfaced, showing two men fleeing the crime scene. These men became prime suspects, and the video, aired repeatedly on news programs, spurred progress. Police released sketches and descriptions of the suspects. Soon, one man surrendered, cooperating to lessen his sentence. His information led to other accomplices, including Samodi and Cristina. All were arrested, including cab driver Ronald Archie, who sourced the hitman, laborer Cesar Chavez, an intermediary, a young miner who attacked Gerardo, and Omar Costa, who tracked Gerardo's movements. Phone records and texts confirmed their roles. Samodi orchestrated the murder, enlisting Cristina and their contacts Ronald and Cesar to hire hitmen to stage a robbery gone wrong. Omar ensured Gerardo reached the park. On October 7th, Samodi coordinated the plan, demanding proof of the deed, Gerardo's bag and jacket, which were delivered to her. Incriminating texts detailing the plot were found on her phone, as she hadn't deleted them, confident she'd escape justice. Her motive was simple: jealousy. Unable to share Gerardo, she decided no one could have him. Samodi and Cristina were detained without bail as flight risks. Their accomplices, except Omar and the juvenile minor, were also held. The investigation spanned 18 months, with the trial starting in December 2017. Samodi's prior legal troubles surfaced, including document forgery for state payments, which earned her a fine, and fraudulently securing alimony from Miguel Angel Perez, resulting in a suspended sentence. Carol testified about Gerardo's affair and Samodi's death threats, which he'd ignored. Phone records confirmed Samodi and Cristina's joint planning. After the surveillance footage aired, Cristina nearly confessed in a panicked call to her mother, who reassured her they'd evade capture. On January 23, 2018, Samodi received 30 years in prison, while Cristina, Ronald, and Cesar each got 25 years. The juvenile minor was sent to a detention center, and the second killer remained at large. Omar was acquitted. Gerardo's family received $140,000 in compensation and thanked the court for justice. However, Samodi and Cristina's lawyers appealed for lighter sentences. In November 2019, the second killer was identified, and all sentences were reduced by 5 years. Samodi now serves 25 years in a women's prison. In 2020, she married Lindsay Diaz Lopez, a former inmate she met in prison, who was paroled while Samodi remains incarcerated for nearly 2 decades. Thanks for watching. I'm Haroon. Subscribe for more shocking stories. See you soon.